All right, Nick, let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. I think the Dolphins came into this offseason. They're just a little bit away. I think this is a team that really just needs to make a couple of key changes, and I think they're going to be ready to go come this coming postseason. We've already talked about some of the changes that Tua Tagovailoa has made going into this offseason, but I think there's even more things he has started doing. We're going to talk about one of those things in particular today that we think is very smart. Let's get into the article and we'll talk more about it on the other side. This from Dolphins Wire. It says, taken by the Miami Dolphins with the number 40 overall pick in the second round of the 2007 NFL Draft, John Beck proved to be a bust. Now, 15 years after his tenure with the Dolphins came to an unceremonious end, Beck may be responsible for helping the franchise in a major way. On Thursday, Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa confirmed rumors that he is working with Beck to improve his craft. He says, I want to keep what we're working on between me and John, but yes, everyone, I have a quarterback coach, and I am working with John Beck, Tagovailoa said via David Fornez of the Sun Sentinel. Nick, I think this is really interesting. I think Beck coming in, even though he was a bust coming out of the draft, they say those who cannot do, teach. I think Beck has been a very good teacher, and I think Tagovailoa taking the extra steps. We talked about his weight loss. We talked about his workout routine. Now we're talking about him getting a quarterback coach, tuning up his game just a little bit. I think these are all really great things to see in Miami. I'm curious what your thoughts are, but Dolphins fans, in the comment section below, talking about a guy that the Dolphins drafted, talking about a guy who, unfortunately did become a bust. Let us know. This is a little bit more interesting, maybe a little bit negative, but who has been the most notable bust that the Miami Dolphins have drafted, John Beck not included? Let us know in the comment section below, who do you think the biggest flop was for the Dolphins in the draft? But Nick, what are your thoughts on this latest by the Dolphins?
So first of all, it's important to understand that John Beck and what he's done, it's not just Tua, it's not just like small level clients. Beck's worked with guys like, according to the report, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees. So, this isn't some like random connection here. Beck is a well-known quarterback guru, evaluating footwork, evaluating mental headspace, doing all that kind of stuff, working with quarterbacks to help them elevate their game. Brady used him, Drew Brees uses him, who, by the way, Terron Armstead, tackle for the Miami Dolphins, came out very recently and said he thought Tua Brees on the same kind of level. So there's a lot of good energy there, a lot of good comp there, of course. But here's one thing I want to focus on, and I think this is what's really important. We talked about it about a week ago. Tua getting slimmer, getting leaner, working on his footwork and mobility, trying to be more of a runner. Now we're hearing Tua working on his mechanics, working on his mentals, the offseason, things like that. This is a guy who's obsessive about getting better. And that, to me, is the number one indicator of success in the National Football League. You look at the all-time great quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, obsessive about getting better. Tom Brady, obsessive about getting better. Drew Brees, obsessive about getting better, right? These guys don't stop. They're all about football, all about improving every single little aspect of their game. Peyton Manning famously would do his workout routines in the offseason, going through entire games. Tom Brady would famously bring in his quarterback coach in the middle of playoff runs with the New England Patriots to work on his throwing technique, just to correct a little hitch in his elbow or something during the practice week, right? As they're getting ready for playoff games, right? These guys, Brady, Manning, Brees, they were obsessive about getting better. That's all they ever wanted. They eat, slept, getting better at the quarterback position. And Tua, based on this report, based on the reports we talked about last week, and really if you go back to that last offseason as well, he is obsessive about it because he'll do whatever it takes, whether it's learning judo, learning how to fall, bulking up, leaning up, working on his throwing technique, working on his mentals with Beck, right? He's doing all these kind of things. Every little thing he could do to get better, Tua is doing. And when quarterbacks are obsessive at getting better and they're already talented on good teams, magical things tend to happen. And I know a lot of Dolphins fans, a lot of you guys love him. A lot of you guys are a little concerned about him. I'm telling you what, I think you got a special guy here because when I look at other quarterbacks in the NFL right now, really good ones, even guys like Joe Burrow, even guys like Lamar Jackson, I don't hear these stories. Right? Heck, I don't hear Josh Allen with stories like this. I don't hear Patrick Mahomes about stories like this. And I get some of those guys may already be better than Tua, and I understand. But the reality is when you're obsessive about getting better, and I go back to the Brady Brees examples. In 2005, Brady, Brees, they were not considered the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but they kept getting better and better and better and better, and they became what they became. Tua is on that same trajectory, and I think Miami Dolphins fans should be really excited by what they're hearing from their young quarterback.
Yeah, and I think there's two more things I want to talk about here. Is one is we're hearing all of this news. As you said, everyone else, not so much news about them, but we hear all this news about Tua, who is notoriously very quiet. He does not share any information. So the fact this news is coming out, it has to be big stuff that people are seeing. Everyone is seeing this. It is speaking louder than his words, which are very few and far between as far as sharing things about his personal life or what he's doing in the offseason. And even his comment saying, I'm not going to say what we're working on, but yes, I am working with a quarterback coach, and it is John Beck. I think these things speak very loudly as well. Just the fact that everyone is paying attention to what Tua is doing. They're not going to pay attention to a bad quarterback. They're going to pay attention to a guy who is maybe, right there on the edge of becoming someone great, and that he is putting in the work and they're seeing that. I think that is along the lines of why these stories are coming out about Tua. And I really like Beck. The more I learn about him, the more I read about him, he just seems like a guy who's very humble. He talks about, I wish my NFL journey was different. I wish I wasn't a bust. I wish I could have said, hey, I did X, Y, and Z. I hold X, Y, and Z record. Look at what I did. That is what you need to do. But no, he goes on to say, I didn't do that. That wasn't my story. And so I'm going to help you with what I can help you. I faced adversity. I faced failure. I faced a bunch of things in the NFL. And I'm going to help you get over those, especially on the mental, emotional side of facing those challenges. So I think that's really key by Beck. He seems like a humble, down-to-earth guy. Like you said, he's worked with the elite of the elite when it comes to NFL quarterbacks. I just think that this guy is the perfect guy to work with Tua. Obviously, they're going to work on some throwing stuff. They're going to work on mechanics, little hip hinge, other things like that. But I also think the fact that he's working on his mental after going through tough playoff losses and things like that, I think that's going to be crucially important for Tua going forward. I think it just seems like you said, he's obsessed with getting better, and I'd be excited if I was the Dolphins.